Morning YouTube, I'm finally back. I've been gone for a little while, just been caught up. But today, man, I've got one that I really wanted to do because I've searched the web and I really don't find much about it. But it's a common concern on many cars, not just Fords, and it is the check engine light. Customer states the check engine light is on and it sputters while driving, and customer states hard to start after refilling at the tank. But this is a very common concern amongst many cars, and normally it all points to this: a P1450, a P2196, a P2198, which is purge valve, or unable to bleed up, which is normally a purge valve, and then the vehicle's running rich. And so what happens is, I'll show you. All the vehicles have a purge valve. Hold on, let me take this off. Somewhere on the engine there is what we call a purge valve, and that's this little thing right there. And what it does is pretty much just takes the excess vapors from the fuel tank and then it cycles through the engine. Well, this is a valve that opens and closes. It's got vacuum going to it, and this connector here turns it off and on. So basically, the vacuum from the engine, and there's a tube elsewhere that goes, sorry, that's not the vacuum tube. The actual valve goes into the engine, and this tube actually goes to the gas tank. But anyway, that goes to the gas tank and it siphons out all the extra fumes and stuff and recycles it back into the engine, and it's all at a calculated measure. But what happens is it gets stuck open and the engine expecting it to be closed, and it causes all these extra mishaps that we have. It causes, as you can imagine, it causes, let's see, extra gas going into the engine. So this is why it's running rich. To be running rich means that it's getting extra gas. But luckily for this one, it's actually giving us the code, the P1450 code, what always points to that. Well, normally points to that. Oh, thanks. And real quickly, I just want to show you what it does, and then I'm going to show you a few tricks as to how you can check it without having all this computer hardware stuff. I've had a few people have these. It's a pretty common concern. It's just, man, after I fill up my car, it stutters and shudders and just does all kind of crazy stuff. 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a purge valve, and they're not that expensive. They're definitely not hard to change. But here, in order to check if you have some type of scanner, you'd have to go to purge valve, vent valve, and the fuel tank pressure sensor. Now see, the vent valve is what either helps hold the pressure or release pressure. The purge valve is what allows the vacuum to come in or not to come in, and the fuel tank pressure tells you what's the pressure in the fuel tank. So if we take the purge valve and bring it down to 0, see, right now the fuel tank should be at 0. The pressure should be 0 because the vent is open, the purge valve is closed. So that means there shouldn't be any vacuum, which means it should be at atmospheric temperature, which means that it should be at 0 psi. But right now we see it's at -3, which means that there's still vacuum coming in. Now if I go to the vent valve and I close it, bam, look at that. Oh man, that thing's got a huge leak, which means that when I close the vent valve, and I close the purge valve, it's not supposed to do anything. But as y'all seen, and I hope I caught it on video, that the pressure decreased rapidly, which means that there was still vacuum coming in. And like I said, that points to a purge valve. But I'm gonna remove the purge valve and show you. Now that's one of the quick ways. Is what you want to do is you disconnect that electric connector that automatically shuts the purge valve, and then you should be able to remove this tube. And there shouldn't be any vacuum, but there is, because it's leaking. And you replace that, clear your code, it'll fix your problem. It'll fix your, after you gas up, it'll fix that problem, the sputtering problem. It'll also fix the mixed fire problem. It'll fix a lot of problems. And there's also another test you can do with it, is if you were to take those two bolts off, and blow on that nipple. Yeah, I know, blow on that. Then it's not supposed to allow you to do that. But if it's busted, you'll be able to blow air through it, and that's indicating that it's busted. Well, I hope this helps somebody, and this is a 14 Explorer. And I know my camera, I'm not the best cameraman, but I'm start working on that. But if you have anything else, just let me know. Anything that I can help with. Like I said, ironically, or I found it funny that there wasn't much information about this on the web. But this is a very common problem and a very easy fix for those of you who are having those problems.